Don't believe anything you say ever.
If you say so, we're getting ready for this Backlash review for, you know, the 20th. Are you excited for Backlash? Because this is actually
It,
before Backlash. This is the preview of the review. This is the preview of the review. But nonetheless, welcome in to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, and I mean always, an instant classic. We are about to talk all about CaseE and instead of being ready for the review. But anyway, we're gonna talk all
I've been
about.
ready for half an hour.
He say
Shut
that.
up.
See, I didn't made him tired. See, I didn't made him tired out here. He been asleep. He been asleep because we've been having the difficulties of the technicals, and it's all Casey's fault. Because every time Casey come in, that's when nothing don't want to work. Nothing at all. Nothing. Anyway, DJ here, Casey. Let's see if I can do this right over there. It's weird because it's inverted. So like when I turn this way, I'm like, oh, there. No, it's not. It's not. But anyway, we're gonna talk Backlash 2020, which I think was a pretty good show. I think WWE's done pretty good with their last couple of pay-per-views, of course, not including NXT because I mean NXT's always good, so like it's kind of always an outlier out there. You never know what you're gonna get from the main roster, but you definitely know what you're gonna get from NXT. And I thought this was pretty good. Had some entertaining stuff in it. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. I feel like the greatest wrestling match ever was like this wild thing that like was. They said the last man standing match was long. Like this match was long. Like I was like, ain't no way they going 40, 50 minutes in this match. I looked at the time and I'm like, nah, they ain't gonna go no 40 minutes in this. But they went 45 minutes. Like, huh? What? Anyway, Casey, overall thoughts before we jump into Backlash 2020 and, of course, the greatest wrestling match ever.
First of all, hashtag fix my shape. DJ don't know how to do a rectangle. He got me in a square in a rectangle. He ain't learned his shapes, but his is perfect. His over there perfect. It's a rectangle in a rectangle. Look at me. I'm a square inside of a rectangle. He don't know how to fix it. And anyway,
He just
Backlash
hating. He hating, guys. He hating.
hating because you can't do your shapes right. It's the right shape and it fits. Trying to put a circle inside of a triangle over here.
He
Anyway,
should have made you a circle.
shut. And you took away my name in here,
Good.
which
You
was supposed
deserve
to
your
be
name taken away. Deserve
supposed
it.
to be DJ's hero, Michael Tarver. My name was gonna be in here, and he's like, "No, you can't do that." Anyway, Backlash 2020. I thought it was a pretty good show. I did. There was a lot of entertaining stuff. A lot of things I will get to in different matches that I saw people complaining about all night long. That, like I said, I will get to when we get to those points and address them. But all in all, like for what it was a good show. I think a lot of fans are still being way too critical with what WWE is able to do right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of criticism considering WWE, and just professional wrestling as a whole is the only sport, live sporting event going on right now. So like, and you are limited, especially with wrestling, because wrestling, I think, depends on the fans more than any other sport. You can play football and not really have to worry about the fans. How the fans react doesn't always necessarily dictate how you call a play or how you play defense. More so on offense, it can dictate a little bit more. But with wrestling, like a lot of what they do in the ring and some of the things that they do is based off of what the fans and everything. But they've kind of had to do. I think they've been doing a pretty good job. I've enjoyed, and I think we talked about this in the last review. It's forced them to be a little bit more creative. I think, in ways. And I think people, and of course we got a match slash segment type thing that I think people were kind of critical of as well. And I don't think they should have been kind of critical of. Also, we got the return of Curtis Axel behind me as well. I had to make sure I point that out. Curtis Axel has returned. He's probably going to fall down because he's only being held up with a couple of pieces of tape. So if he fall down, we just going to ignore it and act like he didn't. Or I might be like, whoa, you never know. You never know. So you just be prepared. Just be prepared. Nonetheless, let's jump into the first match we had. Did you watch the pre-show at all? Did you watch the pre-show like at any point, at any time? Did you watch the pre-show?
I saw the results of what happened, and then I started to watch the pre-show, and I was like, nah.
Well, we're going to start out with the Sheamus and the Jeffrey Nero, brother Nero, Hardy. Sheamus and Jeff Hardy, I thought, was a pretty good match for what it was. You know, I mean, these are two of the older guys in the company going at it. And, you know, the storyline was interesting. It was personal. At times you were like, is this too far? You know, in a way, just, you know, with everything Jeff had to go through with it. And then I think you almost debated where Sheamus fit into it. You know, like, where did Sheamus fit into all of this that was going on? What made him be like, yeah, Jeff, you're a junkie. You know, like, what was it about Sheamus? Like, and obviously they don't have Matt Hardy anymore, and that would have been an interesting one to do with this type of a storyline that I think would have resonated a little bit more with people. But because of that, you know, there's a personal feel to it. But with Sheamus, it almost felt maybe a little bit random, and maybe like they were trying to maybe even possibly get some cheap heat on him off of his return. Obviously, when he returned very much so as a face because we thought he was pretty much going to retire because he had been gone for so long. But any thoughts on Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus? Sheamus did end up winning, and you know, I think they're going to keep this going.
Yeah, was there an actual like stipulation to this match?
I don't think so.
Because that's what I was so confused on this whole entire match. They were like, oh, if Jeff Hardy loses, it's over, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? What's over? This feud? Like, there was nothing that said, like, it wasn't like career versus, you know, whatever match. There wasn't like any big stipulation. I don't think. So it was like, why? And if this doesn't keep going, I feel like it's kind of wasted. Because it's like, okay, so Sheamus won, now what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was no, like I said, there wasn't like, oh, you know, if you lose, you have to retire. If you lose, you have to leave WWE. Like, there wasn't anything like that. So, like, they're building this up as like, oh, you know, Jeff has to win. Jeff has to win. Why? Like, I love Jeff, don't get me wrong. He was my hero when I was a kid. But at the same time, what is so special about this? Like, I get that the whole storyline is, oh, you know, all the demons that he's had to face, you know, during his career, and I get that, but he's already faced those. We already know he's faced those. You know, this is just WWE using an old kind of using the past as a storyline. I mean, as far as I know, Jeff is clean. He's been clean. I mean, I think he's had a few DUIs here and there, but nothing like he used to. But, I mean, as for the match itself, I actually thought it was pretty good. You know, they both got, you know, pretty good offense in. It wasn't fully one-sided like I was afraid it was going to be. Sheamus won, which I wasn't surprised. Just with how the segment on, I think it was Raw, ended with the it's better to be pissed off than pissed on thing. Figured, okay, so he got the apple juice in the face. So he's probably going to win. Usually that's how it happens. If one person goes over on Raw before the pay-per-view, the other person is going to win. 9 out of 10 times, that's usually how it goes. So I wasn't surprised that Sheamus won. I'm just curious more as to where does this go from here.
Right, I did, and I'm surprised. I guess I caught Casey off guard, which is good. On top of me about this stuff, I did miss the first match, which was Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus the Iconics. I don't know how we forgot that one.
I thought we was gonna save the best for that.
I mean, we can do that. We can do that.
That's what I assumed. I thought you was just gonna do the best for that.
We can do that. I like this match. I thought it was good. I'm still trying to figure out how important the Raw, well, not the Raw, but just the women's tag team titles are to me. Because we waited for it for so long, and now, like, it's almost like, well, thanks. I appreciate it. Like, it's just like, I mean, I'm glad it's here, but, like, do I care that much? Not really. I think it would have benefited more in NXT, maybe, with the way they do things. Possibly. Maybe they should have introduced it in NXT and then had it eventually come up or something. Like have maybe an NXT team bring it up or something like that. I don't know. But, yeah, I was kind of like, that's interesting in terms of, like, this match. I did like the Iconics as champions. I kind of wish they still were. I think they're pushing them towards a breakup, unfortunately, because I think they're probably the best tag team in, like, the whole women's tag team division. So that's kind of unfortunate, but nonetheless, Bayley and Sasha retain. They won the titles on a recent Raw, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was from the Iconics, like 2 weeks ago or something like that. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why. I don't know why they had Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles put on the best match, one of the best technical matches we've seen in the past couple of weeks on SmackDown instead of on Backlash. Don't understand that. Number two, I've never understood why they would have a championship change on Raw, and now I don't understand it as much anymore because it's like, but why though? Because especially when you're that close to a pay-per-view, and you're kind of like, it should like it's a bigger moment if it changes hands on the pay-per-view. But number two, we see titles change hands so much on the weekly shows that it's like it's not as special as it once was, I think. But anyway, any thoughts on the triple threat tag team match for the women's championship?
The highlight of this match for me was Sasha, Paige, and Alexa in the ring at the same time. That is all I took away from this match because, like you said, like they haven't built up these titles for me to care because, and it goes back to like we've said this many times in past reviews, discussions, debates, whatever. If I can tell as a fan that the promotion doesn't care about something or that, the wrestlers don't care about something, then I'm not going to care about it. I'm going to be able to sense that and I'm not going to care about it. And I feel like WWE really doesn't care about the women's tag team championships. I feel like they just did it, and unfortunately they do this a lot. I feel like they just did it to appease people who were, complaining. Same thing with the Mae Young Classic. That I think they did that to appease fans and kind of shut them up for a while, because we haven't seen that in a while. Still waiting for the second Cruiserweight Classic. I'm just saying. But yeah, I just feel like they don't really care. So it's like, if you don't care, why should I care? If you're not gonna try to push these titles and make them feel like they mean something, why am I going to invest my time and effort into, investing into the storyline or into these titles? It's just, I'd rather just see these athletic, women have really good matches with or without a title. It doesn't matter. The title isn't adding anything to it.
Yeah, and the next match we had was Asuka versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. Um, I st- I'm trying to figure out Nia. That's what I like. She gets thrown in championship matches, and like Nia should be the type of superstar that probably should beat everybody. And I get it; they did the double count out thing, so like technically she didn't get beat. But like, I think it would make Nia look better if she. To me, Nia looks better if she just beats up everybody. Like, she would look better if she just didn't care about anything but only cared about beating up the entire world. Like, I think that would make her look better. That's what they want her to be, but then they never have her do it. You know, I think it seems like they have her talk about beating up people more than they have her beating up people. You know, and to me that's weird. Like, I don't understand that. Why do they do that? Why do they have her talk about beating up people instead of just going out there and beating up people? You know, like I think that would help Nia a lot. And maybe, I don't know, it could be possible. I don't think anybody feels like Nia is ready for a title reign, but I think it could be possible that Nia needs a title reign. Maybe Nia needs a title reign to legitimize her, and she needs to just be this champion that nobody can beat, and people probably would get frustrated about it and kind of PO'd about it, but I think that's what needs to happen. I think Nia, maybe she just needs a title run, and she needs this chance to show that she's better than I think they're allowing her to show. And maybe I'm wrong, but Asuka won because nobody's ready for Asuka, and she just got the title, so I don't think she should have dropped it that quickly anyway. But like, I think it's weird because they put Nia in situations. There should never be it should be rare if there's a one-on-one situation where Nia doesn't win. If it's a triple threat, you can save it a little bit. If it's a fatal four-way, you can save it a little bit. You can get her out of the match somehow, some way. But in a one-on-one scenario, Nia at her size shouldn't be losing to anybody ever. like if you're gonna promote her like that, promote her like that. Let her be that. Let her be that type of superstar then. Like, I'm cool with it. But anyway, Asuka won, and I don't think Nia's ever beat Asuka, has she? I think every time they've went up against each other, Asuka's won somehow. Even in NXT, Asuka won. So, I don't know. But Asuka won. She retains. Thoughts on the Women's Championship match?
I think they're just kind of, like you said, they're trying to push Nia and they're just not doing it right. You know, and I don't necessarily think that just putting a title on her is going to help legitimize her, because how many other people have we said in the past, oh, you know, this person or that person just needs a title and that'll, you know, help legitimize them, and it didn't work. There's been a ton that's happened with. And we even say it with, you know, guys like The Miz with the Intercontinental Championship. You, as the wrestler, more so kind of legitimize the title than the title legitimizes you in most cases. Because, you know, yeah, you can carry around a belt, but if you're not, you know, if you're not making me believe that you're the champion and that nobody can beat you, then you're no more convincing to me than the fans in attendance normally. I know we got the COVID and everything, but you're no more convincing to me than, you know, the guy in the third row holding, you know, the replica title. Like, putting a title on somebody isn't just going to automatically legitimize them.
I disagree a little bit with that, because I don't think you can just slap a title on me and then I immediately become a superstar. But at the same time, you can slap a title on somebody and it completely changed the way I look at them. Like for me, I take R-Truth and Jinder Mahal a lot. I take them a lot more seriously because not that they slapped the title on R-Truth by any means, except for the 24/7 title, like 16 times or something. But when he went after John and the whole little Jimmy thing, as funny as it was and as kind of gimmicky and weird as it was, like it still made you feel like, okay, this dude might could actually do this. Same thing with Jinder. Nobody looked at Jinder and was like, you know what? Jinder looks like a world champion to me. I'm telling you, boy, that dude right there, he got all the... No, nobody was looking at Jinder and being like, he got all the potential. Not anybody. Like, nobody was like, you know what? This dude got all the potential, bro. But once he became the WWE champion, I feel like the narrative changed on him. Am I wrong? Wrestling is a lot like sports in a way because KD's narrative changed when he won titles. At the same time, wrestling is similar. You can look like a joke all you want to, but until you win a title, you feel a little bit more legitimate. We as fans still watch it as a sport.
But I think the gender thing was more for like you, me, and a select few fans who actually cared about it. Largely, the rest of the WWE universe was like, yeah, no, he's not championship material, even when he had the title. So I don't know if you can really say that about Jinder. And plus, when like Jinder and R-Truth, did that, it was kind of more of a surprise. Like you said, we didn't think they were going to do it. We didn't think they were going to actually pull the trigger, and they did. Whereas now they're really pushing, or they're trying to really push Nia as, she's going to be the next champion. That's where the difference is. Like, they're really, like, pushing it into us that, she's going to be the next champion. And I just don't, I don't think she's ready for it yet. I don't, there's still something about her that needs work. And maybe it is just that, she needs to be that monster that just destroys people. Doesn't just talk about it, but actually goes down there, does it. Comes out during one of Asuka's matches and just destroys her, causes a disqualification. Asuka's in the back, attacks her in the back, like ruthless. Like that's what they need to build her as, like that monster. And then you might start to get that feeling that okay, maybe she will beat Asuka and take the title. But right now, it's just, and I think part of it is the sort of mystique that's been built up around Asuka, especially when she was down in like NXT when nobody could beat Asuka. Not so much on the main roster because she hasn't been as dominant on the main roster, I don't think. But you still have that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, definitely. I hope they do something with Nia, but I just feel like there's something missing. And we talked about this a lot. Nia has the like presence of it, and in terms of the size, but like even the way she carries herself, sometimes you're like, but really though, you're like, are you for real? But anyway, speaking of size and people who are ridiculously big, even though who was it? I saw Braun was standing with. Who was he standing with? I was watching Undertaker's documentary last night, and he was standing with somebody, and I was like, Braun ain't that big. I can't remember who. It was Taker, because Taker's huge. Because Taker's really tall, but I was like, Braun ain't that big. But Braun Strowman versus Miz and Morrison for the Universal Championship. They had changed the stipulation where Miz and Morrison couldn't be co-champions. They had to whoever got the pin won the title if they got the pin. Speaking of, shouldn't Nia Jax be booked just like Braun? Like, Braun, that's what Braun does. Braun just beats people up. There was a time where he didn't win a title and nobody cared. They just wanted to see him beat people up because he's Braun and he's huge. Like, that's kind of where we are. And even now, I'm kind of like, who's gonna beat Braun? Who legitimately could beat Braun? Unless they have Chavo come in and roll up hit him or something. Like, who's gonna beat Braun? Like, who's gonna do it? Like, this match against Miz and Morrison, I didn't expect Miz or Morrison to win the match by any means, but it was kind of like, it felt like it was a fill-in match almost. You know, it was just like, we need a Universal title match, so this is what we're going to do. And they have been messing with Braun, and it's been very interesting and entertaining and funny. And I love how Braun still just turns over cars, because, you know, whatever. It's easy, bro. I mean, I'm going to go flip my car. Well, not my car. I might go flip the neighbor's car or something over. You know, I'm going to go flip some cars over, too. I think I can do it. He makes it look so easy. I'm about to go do it. All right, when I come back in and I'm hurting, don't nobody say nothing. Anyway, Braun won this match pretty easily, I think. Pretty easily, it felt like. It's Braun. He's gonna beat up everybody. Everybody getting these hands. You know, I do think Braun's like popularity has went down. I guess it's hard to know because there's not really fans anymore right now. But like, it still feels like there was a peak at where he was when he was like fighting Roman, and I think maybe that was the Roman Reigns effect. I don't know, but like, there was a peak that he had that I don't think they capitalized on at the time, and I think they should have. But still, I think he's still popular. I think it's just sometimes it's hard to gauge because there's no fans, so it's hard to know. Like, oh, do we still love him or do we not? I mean, I still like him, and I think he's still pretty ridiculous. But I don't know. I think. I don't know. Maybe it should be Lashley. It's not going to happen, but because they're not going to switch Lashley to SmackDown just to go beat Braun. But like, logically, I mean, I don't know who else can stand up to Braun. Like, who else can beat Braun besides, as Rabbit would say, the Beast, the Monster, the can't say the rest. You know, like who?
You actually think Lashley has been booked strong enough since he's come back to WWE?
Okay, recently in a way, yes, but like, and I'm talking about like the last couple of weeks, not like his entire time. He's been a joke until the last month with whatever he's been doing with Drew, and in a way, it's still a joke because of the way he lost. But we'll talk about that in a minute. I don't know, man. I don't know who's gonna beat Braun, but then again, there's another part of me that thinks it should be Bray. Bray's already held the title, but it doesn't matter. Bray should still have that mental edge over Braun because he brought Braun into the company and because of how Bray is, right? Or onto the main roster, I should say. Like, Bray should beat Braun. Like, I don't know why that's not still going on. That should still be going on, like, definitely. But I think maybe it should be Bray. I don't know anybody else on SmackDown that I'm like, you know what? Yeah, he'll beat Braun. Yep. No, I don't. Who is it? I told you. What'd you say?
Nothing. I didn't say Big Red.
Big Red can do it. Big Red got this, bro. He got this.
He gone. He got released.
He was cheated out of his opportunities. He had the big old spider. They did all of that for a big old fake spider. Anyway, we just gonna move on. They had Jake the Snake here, a real snake, darn it. What the heck is wrong with these? Moving on. Drew McIntyre.
Bro, I didn't even talk about that match.
Oh, you didn't talk about it? Oh, oops. I mean, I can't bring the picture back up, so they're just gonna have to just go with the flow of it. Continue. What was your thoughts? Did you have thoughts on the match, or you didn't care?
Not really. But I do think we need to give more respect to John Morrison because he funny too. I mean, not so much in the match, but when they were in the back of the van and they had the video monitors, and he starts to attack the van. He's like, "No, it's okay. We're protected by the van. We're protected by a van." I was like, "Bruh," and then he tipped it over. Why is he tipping every vehicle over? Like, stop. What is it with Braun and vehicles? Like, I get it. He's a car guy, but like, that doesn't need to be like half of his gimmick is like knocking cars over. Like, stop it. Knock people over. I kind of wanted to see co-champions though, but they were like, "No, it's not gonna be like that."
All right. Go ahead and give your thoughts on Lashley versus Drew then, since we're already here and I already done put the picture up. I don't want to skip you this time. I'm gonna skip you.
This was my bathroom break.
Wow.
Don't tell me this wasn't your bathroom break.
No, I watched this. I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it. I mean,
I knew who was gonna win, so I was like, eh.
I don't know. In a way, I didn't know. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm still too in love with TNA Lashley or something. Like, I don't know. And it feels like they're literally like doing everything that the BDC did. Everything. Like, this is like copy and paste, like Word document. I got an exam tomorrow. Let me get your let me get that paper you wrote. like this is what like this looks just like the BDC, the way that everything is transpiring. But I don't know. For some reason, I was really invested in this match, and I was like, Lashley gonna win it. If he don't, I riot. No, but he gonna win it, bruh. He gonna win it. He got to. And then Lana came out, and I'm like, she gonna help him win it. That's what's gonna happen. They gonna put her in there. They gonna put her in there. Yes, let's go. They gonna put her in there. She gonna help him. And then they did that. What? No. Come on, man. Really? Like, you gotta go. They should have let Lashley go ahead and take it off. What they should have did was let Lashley take it off of Brock, and then let freaking Drew take it off of Lashley. You got the order wrong. WWE. Come on now. Anyway,
See, my problem with this is, Lana gets knocked off the apron onto MVP. This man just sits up. No sells it, just sits right up. Like, didn't even hold his head or nothing. Like, bruh, I guess she's a lady, but like, come on, just still. Like,
she's light, bruh. She's light. That's what it is. She light.
If she were that light, he wouldn't have fallen over.
Anyway, I'm gonna let you take, because I know this one was your favorite match of the night. Obviously, this one coming up right here. This was your match of the night. If I could change it. Street Profits and the Viking. Well, we got the coronation of the Viking Prophets. I'm gonna let you take it first.
This was the greatest non-match ever. Ever. There was axes and bowling balls and motorcycle riding ninjas. Now, if I just explained that to you with no other context, you'd be curious too. You would be curious too. Okay? And a turkey leg also with some powers that he can just grab the turkey leg and it flies back to his hand. What? I legitimately cannot describe this accurately for someone to fully understand what happened. But go watch it if you haven't. It is fantastic. And this is one of the things that I was having issues with the fans the other night. I thought this was great. I've really been entertained with the segments. And everyone's like, oh, well, no, this is stupid. This is corny. Just let them wrestle. Think about it this way. And I've said this to other people too. Think about it this way. They, especially the Viking Raiders, War Machine, whatever you want to call them, those two have been grinding and, grinding their way through the indies since the early 2000s. I think Hansen started in 2001 and Rose started in 2003. Like, I get it. They finally made it to the WWE. This is really where where the hard work really starts. But I don't know any veteran that's been wrestling as long as they have that wouldn't love a break kind of like this and just to do something kind of fun comedy, rather than having to take bumps every single night, or just think about all the bumps that they've had to take in the entire time that they were in the Indies. Like, that's multiple shows a weekend, sometimes even during the week. Like, come on, they deserve this break. And at the end of the day, it's sports entertainment. This is a form of entertainment. Be entertained. Stop being so picky about every little thing. Like, it actually gets annoying, really, more than anything, when people just complain about all these little things, because it's like, this is like, WWE has such a big audience that you almost have to have this little, like, subgenres within the show. You have to have your comedy segments. You have to have your serious stuff. You have to have your, AJ and Daniel Bryan technical stuff. Like, you have to have all of that, and this is part of it. And I thought it was really entertaining. I really did. And everybody think Ibar are the cute one, but Eric's not that bad. He got the nice smile though. He got the nice smile. I got you, bruh. I got you.
Oh. Yeah. This was the funniest thing I've seen in forever, man. I watched it twice. A friend of mine, we watched it again because I was like, dude, you gotta watch this, man. Like, this is hilarious. There was just parts in it, like, just the little fams were hilarious, and like when when he was like, we gotta take this outside, and they looked at each other, they were like, we are outside, fam. I was dead. I was like, I don't know why something so small made me laugh so much. But that was hilarious. The bowling ball thing was funny. The little like jousting fighting was hilarious. The freaking, like, this was cool because it was supposed to be funny. It was meant to be comedy, but then it also like had its like little, not necessarily serious parts, but like surprising parts. When Akira Tozawa came up and he just had this big old ninja and a bunch of biking ninjas. Like, I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? What they gonna do with Akira now? What's gonna happen? I gotta know. And then the big ninja came out. Like, I was like, who this man? Who is it? Is that Taco Fall? Who is this man? Like, this man huge, bro. Who this man? And then I'm thinking, is he really that big, or is Akira Tozawa that small? Like, that was what I was wondering. I'm like, is he that big, or Akira Tozawa that small? I'm just saying. But yeah, it was funny. All the little flashback sequences were funny. Them running on the thing, and the bulldog into like the little garbage pit or whatever. I was like, what? They just like killing people. They just like killing people in WWE now. Like, they just like to do that. The you're cute, not so much was hilarious. And then when Jess came up at the end, and she was like, you guys got a match next. Oh, hi, you're cute. That's so. And then at the end, when Montez Ford was like, she wants Ivar, I was dead. I was like, this dude is hilarious. Like, he had me cracking up. It was funny. Like, it was the funniest thing ever. I loved it. Yeah, the criticism that they got for this segment not being the segment instead of a match, you get matches every week. You literally get matches every week. They could give you a tag team title match every week and you would complain. Like, so what else do you want? What else do you want? They give you matches every pay-per-view. They decided to do something a little bit more funny and entertaining that they probably couldn't pull off with a live audience there, and you get upset about it. There's no pleasing wrestling fans. We all know this. There's no pleasing wrestling fans nowadays. There's just there's no pleasing wrestling fans at this point. But this was hilarious. This was good. I love the coronation of the Viking prophets. That was hilarious. I was like, this is gold. Whoever wrote this, deserves a raise. Whoever's wrote this whole thing, because it's all been funny. The bowling thing, the freaking basketball thing, the thing when they ate the turkey legs, like all of it's been hilarious. But nonetheless, main event time. Hopefully it won't take us 40 minutes to talk about it, because it was a 40-minute match. Randy Orton versus Edge in a match in the greatest wrestling match ever, which is what it was supposed to be. It was cool. The little when they paid homage to Fink, that was cool. That was really cool. It was cool, but it was almost like bittersweet, you know, because who is it? It's Tony Chimmel, I think, who has the greatest Edge introduction ever, right? Like he has the greatest Edge introduction. Like this dude got the greatest Edge introduction ever, but like you can't, like you gotta pay homage to the Fink. You have to, like you have to. So that was funny. I love that. I thought that was really cool. And that was a good little touch they did. Them doing different finishes on everybody made me think. So like when Triple H comes back, you know, for his next WrestleMania match, and his pedigree don't work, what he gonna do? Like I'm just wondering, what he gonna do? Like what is he gonna do? And when The Rock come back to face Triple H at WrestleMania, because it's gonna happen. What he gonna do when the rock bottom don't work? I'm just wondering, because we got finishers now that cannot work anymore. They have been kicked out of. It's over. It's over. They can't work. But I mean, I thought the match was good. If you want to talk about long matches, you can't tell me the Last Man Standing match was long, and then we had a normal wrestling match that I think was longer. Like,
I think so.
do not complain ever again about a match being long. Ever. Okay? This match, I think, was a little too long for my liking. I liked all that was in it. They had some good reversals. There was good wrestling in it. But, like, it felt too long to me, you know, in certain areas. It felt like there was certain points in time where I was like, all right, this is a little much. And I think that they're tied now, so I think they're going to have to, at some point, I know Edge got hurt in this match, but I know at some point they're going to have to do some sort of tiebreaker. I think they were going to do it at SummerSlam, but I don't know if they're going to be able to with Edge having a torn triceps reportedly. So, I mean, I think in terms of which match was better, I like the Last Man Standing match better. I think being able to use everything in your environment and all of that stuff lends its hand a little bit better to a longer match, because you can do a little bit more. You can go a little bit. You can go to different places. You can use different things, and I think it goes by a little bit quicker than maybe it even reads on paper. But this match, I think it was good. It was just long. It was just really long. Like, I don't know when the last time we've had a 30-40 minute match in WWE especially. I know they have them from time to time in New Japan. You know, time limit draws and stuff like that. But like, I haven't seen a match that's been able to last this long and like keep you invested the whole time, unless like you want to go to like the Iron Man match with Brett and Shawn. And even I think back then, 60 minutes is a long time to keep me invested. You know, so now with our attention spans being a little bit less, I think now it's a little bit harder to pull something like this off, especially if it's not an Iron Man match. An Iron Man match is always a race against the clock, so it's hard to get bored by it because they're constantly racing against the clock. Whereas a match like this, where you never really know when it's going to end, is interesting. But I think there's parts of it where you're like, is that a little too long? Like, is there a little too much to this match right now? But I like the finishers, and I like the storytelling of some of the stuff, like especially at the beginning when Randy was just outstepping Edge in ways and like making him feel like he was just a hair too slow, like he had lost a step. I thought that was cool. That was really cool. I don't know if many people noticed that, but that was really interesting because he kind of talked about Edge in that way in some of the lead up. But also some of the stuff like the mental stuff, just some of the little talking stuff. Some of the camera angles were a little crazy, like I don't know how the heck they got the one underneath, like underneath them that was like Like, you just slid that in, didn't you? Like, you had to. You had to just slide that in the ring real quick, just so I couldn't see it. Like, you had to, because there's no way you got a camera in your canvas. There's no way. There's no way at all. But that was interesting. They had a bunch of cameras, and I don't know. I don't know if you've noticed this. I know they always have the corner post cameras, but like, do they always have all of those corner post cameras, or they usually just have one? I could have swore it's just one. I know they enhanced it and everything for this match, but like, usually it's not that many. And then like the freaking some of the piped in noise was interesting. I found it funny. Somebody asked about them piping in noise when they literally said we're going to do it for this match to make it an experience. Not like the Velveteen Dream experience, but like this type of experience. But anyway, Casey, thoughts on the main event? Randy Orton ended up winning with the punt kick, which we hadn't seen in like, I don't think we ever thought we'd see again, but we hadn't seen in forever. So that was cool. That was a little surprise moment. But thoughts?
Yeah, first of all, that was another thing that I was having issues with fans complaining about was, they're piping in the, this crowd noise is distracting me. I can't focus on the match. I was like, if that little aspect of this entire match is distracting you and taking away from the match from you, one, you need to reevaluate your fandom for pro wrestling if that little aspect is ruining an entire match for you. Second, and I know I've done this, I know DJ does this all the time, there's a little feature on most, if not all TVs, it's called mute. You can mute the sound and still watch the match. It works, it really does. But yeah, that was just annoying me like the whole night. And even, today I was still seeing people complaining about it. And I'm like, it's such a small thing. Like, why are you carrying on about it? Let it go. But I love this match. I thought this match was really good. The only thing that really bothered me was that first camera angle underneath them in the initial lockup. I was like, why? What was the point of that? Why do we need to see up?
What was it? It was like a bulldog or something where they did that camera angle where it kind of looked kind of cool. But like the first one was like, what? Like it like caught you off guard.
Like yeah, and later on they had like put the camera in for like a superplex, and then later on I think he had like one of them had the other in a headlock, and the camera came in the ring, which was kind of bothering me. I was like, we never have this. Why is there all of a sudden a camera in the ring? Stop it. Like, you can't do this at a live show, so why are you doing it now? Just stop. Just stop. But I liked it. I thought, like you said, it told the whole story of the whole feud and everything, from the little aspects to, like, the big things. Loved all the finishers. It kind of didn't make sense because a lot of them weren't involved in the storyline at all, period. Like, when they were doing the Three Amigos, okay, I get that, paying tribute to Eddie Guerrero, fine. The Angle Slam, Angle has nothing to do with this feud at all. I know they know him.
Didn't they
but
say
it's
something
like,
about Angle said... They mentioned it in commentary. They said that Angle picked Edge to win, so that's why he did it. Something like that.
I didn't even pay attention.
The Triple H one was like the Triple H and the Rock one was the craziest one, but like the other two, like the Unprettier, I think the reason Edge did that was because Christian said something that like Randy Orton was going to win or something like that. It was like. Some of them were something to prove. Others were just random.
Yeah. And like I said, I love this match. I thought that they gave everything in this match. Even though there were no actual fans in attendance, it was at the Performance Center. They still put everything into that match, and you could tell they put everything into that match. They were gonna, they were gonna give the fans at home a hell of a match, and I think they did. Um, the only thing I was kind of upset with, and I didn't realize, I didn't look at like news reports or anything. I didn't realize that Edge actually got injured in the match. Um, but I was expecting after, and I had heard rumors before that they were possibly going. Yeah, I told you he was going to fall. He going to fall. Anyway, I had heard rumors before that they were possibly going to have a run-in with Christian, and then do like a storyline or a feud with Edge and Christian, which I thought would have been really cool. So after the Unprettier, that's when I expected at some point for Christian to come out, which I don't know if they were planning on doing that or if they, called an audible because
was on Raw
Edge got
tonight.
hurt.
Christian was on Raw tonight. He accepted something. I didn't see it, but
Oh, I haven't watched Raw yet. I'll have to. But yeah, I kind of expected that. But I mean, even without that, fantastic match. I definitely wasn't the greatest wrestling match ever. I don't think you could possibly do the greatest wrestling match ever. I don't even know if there is a greatest wrestling match ever. But yeah, definitely wasn't the greatest wrestling match ever, but it was really good. Definitely a match that I would go back and watch again.
definitely as we get ready to sign off here, I think we're good on everything. Backlash. I think it turned out pretty good. Um, we're gonna try to. I think the plan is to stream on Facebook most times. We just had some technical difficulties, so we went to YouTube tonight. So hopefully this will be on Facebook as well. But nonetheless, I think the pay per view turned out pretty good for what they had to do, and I think they it kind of lived up to the hype a little bit, or whatever hype Backlash has. Whatever hype Backlash has. But nonetheless, um, I guess that's it, right? I think we're good. I think we're done on everything.
Yeah.
You got anything else to say? Anything else to?
Next time, fix my shape.
No, we're gonna make you a triangle next time. But anyway, we're gonna see you guys on the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to give us a like on YouTube, of course, and subscribe as well, and also like the Facebook page too. It's Classic Wrestling Podcast. It's pretty easy to find, or facebook.com/ICW Podcast if you want to go there as well. Twitter, ICW_podcast if you want to go there. We ain't gonna shout out Instagram because we don't post on it, so we just gonna let that be. It's kind of just there for the. I don't think you post on it. Do you post on it? From time to time, he posts his merch. So ICW_podcast from time to time. He does. CR O'Malley posts his merch. I don't know how Casey knows him, but they look similar, but not the same person, of course. But anyway,
No, of course not.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Hope you guys enjoy.